Welcome to Anushi World, where I talk about movies and books that has impacted me or has, kept me interested in life. So I'm definitely not a very critical analyst about books and movies. I talk about them with my all heart and with emotions. I talk about them, how I felt about them, and what is my perspective about them. So please don't get so difficult and very deep into analysis. We will just enjoy and discuss about books and movies that we really love. So I read in a hybrid mode. That is, I read in paperback, hardcovers, like soft hardcovers, and also in soft copies, like ebook, right? Because books, let me be clear, are expensive. So here are my top 5 reads of 2024 that I really enjoyed, and I would like to share it with you all. The first one is Crooked Kingdom, the second part of the trilogy of Six of Crows. Okay, I know. I have not read it when it was released back in 2017. I guess 2016, I don't remember the exact date. But this book, I swear to God, this is my favorite fantasy novel I've ever read. I loved it. No words, I gave it 5-star ratings in Goodreads, and it was no wonder why everyone loved this book. Whoever I have met, my friends, everyone loved this book. And I think that this is the best book written by Lee Bardugo. She gave this bomb for a book, and this is the best book. I think better than any of the books she has ever written. This is indeed the best, and I highly recommend everyone to read this book if you are into fantasy novel, or if you like teenage novels where thief kind of trope. If you like this kind of trope, I think you will love this trope. Second, let me clear. I know. This is definitely an overhyped book. I won't say it's overhyped because I loved this book. I loved it so much. I mean, I saw the reviews on Goodreads, and there were mixed reviews. Some were saying it was good. Ratings were really nice. I think it's 4.44. I guess so. It's above 4 at least. They were mixed reviews. But when I started, I read the blurb of this book. I never read dark academia before this, but I have read academic books, academia trope books, and I really like academia. Wherever there is academia, there is me. Harry Potter it started with Harry Potter, I must say. But this book, initially this book was sort of, slow, but the way it, when it started pacing, it picked up that pace, I was like, damn, friendship you can say, the morally grey characters you can say, the, interdisciplinary of those, the 5 of them, the way they were connected to each other, and the way the way they turned on each other, till the last, and the plot twist was really heartbreaking for me. I was not well after reading this book. It actually created an imprint in my mind. So read with cautions. It has trigger warnings like drug addictions, homophobia. So sexual abuse. So read with warning, but it is indeed one of my favorite reads of 2024, and I think many of you would agree with me or disagree with me, but it's all about perspective. So moving on to my next favorite read of this year, The Bell Jar. Okay, so when I started, I read the book. I got recommended, I was reading back Dostoevsky back then, and I got recommended about this book from one of my friends. They said that it's a very interesting book. The mental, the emotional or mentally capability of the character or the narrator is so well done in this book. I love this book. Honestly, there is no words behind it. I think that the author is racist. The author has some issues. There are some negative things about this book, but other than that, I think the plot of this book, or the the narrator, how she explains her mental health, the mental thing she says, the mental capacity she says. She's a editor, right? She's a junior editor, or the intern. She's an intern basically. And the way she said that eventually she did not even enjoy reading. She was reading, but she could not make the words what she was reading, right? And I felt, there were many parts in the book that I related with the narrator, and I think that is really very sad. I think I need to visit my therapist really soon. But yeah, this book, if you are into psychological tropes, like you like reading behind minds, or you like the idea behind something, it's a classic book. It's a classic book by Sylvia Plath. I think I'll talk about Sylvia Plath. I will have to make a full video on Sylvia Plath if I start talking about her. So moving on to my next favorite book is Piranesi by Susan Clark. I personally have not read something like that before reading Piranesi. I had no idea what I was reading before. The world building was is amazing in this book. The writing style, amazing. The world building felt like Greek. I will try to explain the world building to you. It felt like white Greek castles beside the sea. It felt so Pinterest. It's so aesthetic. When you read the book, you feel like you are into that zone. You are into that near the sea beach, or you are into that castle where those walls are calling for you. The narrator or the main character, amazing world building. I think I will only give 5 out of 5 of that for that book, only for its world building. Story aside, and when it comes to the story, if I talk about the plot, it was not something very out of the ordinary or out of the box that we don't know about or we haven't read about, but the story was very engaging, very much page turning. When you start reading it, you will continue reading it. You won't be stopping until unless you finish that particular book. So I guess that was very good thing for me. There is a big plot twist in the book. The history or the background of the storyteller is really nice, or the narrator, I guess, not storyteller but narrator, is really nice. And the way the author Susan Clark has connected all the dots, literally like all the random dots in the book, and she has connected it into one. I think that's brilliant. When I read this book, when I finished that book now, I said, wow, what did I do? Wow, this is a kind of book you don't read often. You will only read it once in a while. Once in a blue moon, you will be reading this kind of books. And I highly recommend, if anyone is interested in fantasy, I will definitely recommend the book Piranesi by Susan Clark. Okay, now moving on, I have one of my favorite fiction, that is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. Let me. I cannot explain this book. I cannot love this book more than I love it already. It's not possible for me. So the story is like set in an island where there is a nameless narrator, and in that island you keep forgetting, daily random things, and eventually it turns out to be a very big plot twist. So the things you keep forgetting is like you don't even remember about its existence. You don't know anything about it. It's a daily thing. You suddenly wake up one day and you are like, there is no toothpaste, and you don't even realize that there is no toothpaste. You don't know it. And to ensure that that each and every individual of that island is forgetting things, there is a unit called Memory Police regulating them. The job of the Memory Police is to find out people that does not forget about those things, who retain those memories. And if you I cannot actually explain this book without ruining it for you all. So it's a very engaging book. It's a small book. It's not very lengthy. It's a small book and it's very engaging book. It will feel like the quotes, or you say the way the author has described everything and you can relate it to you. You know, not about the fiction but the thoughts behind it. Like you can relate to the book. Now, moving on to my favorite author. It's a classic. Yes, it's a classic, and he is my favorite author. Hands down. The Picture of Dorian Gray. I think I should put a music here. Okay, so The Picture of Dorian Gray is ultimate favorite book of mine. I have read it so many times, I can't even count. I have read it so many times. Oscar Wilde is a magician. You know, when I say magician, it's a small thing for me. It's not explaining anything. Anyway, so why I like Dorian Gray? If I have to say why, I will be actually able to point out. The story is not very huge that you don't know about it or you haven't read it about before, but the thought behind it. Imagine you're getting old, okay, by age, but not really. And there's a portrait of you who is scary. It is scary to read the book. Trust me, if you start reading Dorian Gray, it is obviously it's a classic. It is build up kind of book. You have to build it up to it. The climax is what we say in Bengali, bhayankur. I love that book. If I had to recommend one book, like I have recommended this book to so many of my friends, and every one of them has said me that this book is a sheer masterpiece, and there is no second thought about it, and there is nothing behind that. And to everyone, if someone comes and asks me what is your favorite book, the first thing that comes to mind is The Picture of Dorian Gray. It's a beginner friendly book, I think so. If you are looking to know, if you have patience enough to build up to it, it is a beginner friendly book. It's not that difficult to understand or read. It's a wonderful book. It's a gothic literature, and it has a certain touch of dark academia, not completely, but certain touch of dark academia, and it's an amazing read. The way the main character Dorian is transforming, from a sweet, kind boy to by the end to a very cruel human being, very harsh, very rude, and how and why it is happening. I won't do that. Why it is happening? You need to read that book. I think that if you start to read if you want to start reading classics, I think this is the best book to start. So that's it for today. See you in my next video with more interesting topics about books and movies. Till then, if you have liked this video, please click on the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends who you think will be interested in some similar content. Thank you.